Breloom, the mushroom Pokemon. Its short arms stretch when it throws punches. Its technique is equal to that of pro boxers. Breloom is easily one of the most frustrating Pokemon to face in the entire game. It has access to Spore, arguably the best attack in all of Pokemon, and it can hit incredibly hard off its base 130 attack stat. As if that weren't enough, it has two very useful abilities in Poison Heal and Technician that you can use to either keep it healthy and immune to status, or focus on improving its already impressive offensive capabilities. With the release of its Dream World ability, a Technician Breloom can be very scary. With it, a Mach Punch off Breloom hits just as hard as a Bullet Punch from a Technician Scissor. Plus, Breloom can take full advantage of a low-power, multi-hitting move like Bullet Seed to abuse Technician further. At worst, a Bullet Seed off Technician Breloom will hit only slightly weaker than a Seed Bomb, but at best it hits even harder than a Focus Punch. Plus, it has the great secondary effect of breaking substitutes and focus sashes. This set can either be built as a setup sweeper using Swords Dance and Spore, or with the Choice Band as a modified version of Choice Band Scissor. In either case, the sheer damage output possible by this set is scary when used properly. For a set more akin to its Poison Heal roots, a bulk-up Breloom has a lot of staying power. Poison Heal makes it immune to status and heals it for 1/8 of its hit points every turn. Couple that with the ability to improve its defense and attack, and give it an attack that heals it in the process, and this set is very tough to bring down. The coverage move you use on this set depends on what you need Breloom to counter. Seed Bomb is the best choice since it destroys most bulky water types that can give your team pause. But this leaves Breloom virtually helpless against flying types since both of its stab attacks are resisted by flying. Stone Edge is a suitable replacement if you don't want to get walled by flyers, or Facade gives you more neutral coverage off a great 140 base power attack. Thanks to Poison Heal and Spore, a Subseed Breloom is a viable set despite its low speed. Spore is always helpful to incapacitate an opponent, and the passive healing given by Leech Seed and Poison Heal can allow Breloom to maintain substitutes very easily. As with any set packing substitute, Focus Punch is an enticing option due to its raw power. However, a more traditional attack like Drain Punch is an alternative, because without it, Breloom cannot attack without a substitute set up. However, arguably the most effective Breloom set is the Spore Punching set. By switching this Breloom into any Pokemon slower than it, you can disable one Pokemon with Spore, and on the switch, set up a substitute to prime for a bone-shattering Focus Punch. This set does away with all the annoyance of the Leech Seed set to opt for pure offensive prowess. Even premier physical walls like Skarmory and Forretress, when fully invested in defense, will still lose about half of their health from Breloom's Focus Punch. Plus, hard counters to Focus Punch like Gliscor, Jellicent, or Gyarados risk getting mauled by one of Breloom's many coverage options. Breloom possesses the second strongest Focus Punch in the game behind Conkeldurr, and this set is designed to abuse it to its full potential. If you're using Breloom on your team, you need to know how to keep it safe. Breloom has great attack, but the rest of its stats are mediocre at best. The best way to keep Breloom operational is to pair it with teammates that counter its common weaknesses. Despite their shared weakness to fire, Skarmory is a great partner to Breloom. It has high natural toughness and takes pitiful damage from the psychic, poison, and flying attacks that hit Breloom super effectively. On top of that, the entry hazard support that Skarmory can provide will help rack up damage as your opponent is forced to switch out their sleeping Pokemon. To keep both of these Pokemon safe, bulky water types, or Pokemon with Flash Fire, go a long way to keeping fire or ice attacks at bay. Also, as an all-purpose special wall, Blissey or Chansey require mention, since they can sponge any super effective attacks aimed at Breloom from the special side. As scary as Breloom can be, there are ways to bring it down. That being said, Breloom is one of those scary Pokemon that can defeat even those Pokemon it struggles against because of its impressive power and access to Spore. Despite its neutrality to fighting and low defenses, an Insomnia Honchkrow is one of the safest bets. Breloom's first appearance in battle will almost always result in a Spore, so being able to predict it and switch to a Pokemon that's immune to it will turn the tide. Honchkrow also has access to both Brave Bird and Heat Wave, either of which will maul Breloom, and both of which typically require different counters. Even this escape plan can be countered, however, since a smart opponent can use the team preview to predict a Honchkrow switch and punish you for it. By the same token, if you have a Pokemon with you that carries a Lum or Chesto Berry, like a common Dragonite or Haxorus build, you can switch into the Spore for free and threaten it with powerful attacks of your own. This counter strategy will only work once, unfortunately, so you'll need to take advantage of it as best you can. Outside of those specific counters, the best way to deal with Breloom is to switch whatever Pokemon you're willing to submit to the sleep. Spore is an incredible move, so keeping it out of Breloom's arsenal by having one of your Pokemon already affected by it is the most consistent way to get around it. You'll lose a turn on the resulting switch, but sacrificing a turn and taking some damage is much more preferred over allowing Breloom to set up on you and run through your entire team. This is especially important against any Breloom that carries Substitute. Sets with Substitute have a unique distinction that, if you don't absorb the sleep with someone else on your team, they will defeat any Pokemon slower than them, bar none. The combination of Spore, Substitute, and Poison Heal will keep Breloom healthy enough that, even if you wake up as early as possible, Breloom will never lose to anything it outspeeds, and it will only be a matter of time until it can rack up enough damage to knock you out. Once Spore is out of the picture, there are a number of different ways to beat Breloom. The Laddie twins are probably your best bet, since they resist both Breloom's stab attacks and can threaten back with strong offenses of their own. An unusual but very effective choice to send out is Crobat. Crobat is double resistant to both Breloom's stab attacks, so even Breloom's incredible offense can be virtually nullified. However, Crobat will still get mauled by a Stone Edge, so you will need to ensure that Breloom doesn't carry it before risking your Crobat on it. Another great counter is Reuniclus. Strong defenses with resistance to fighting and immunity to Leech Seed allow Reuniclus to survive long enough to put down Breloom with a stab psychic attack. Unfortunately, even this is not foolproof, since Breloom can outspeed it and hit it hard with a stab grass attack. If Breloom has already set up or is packing a choice band, you will need to hope it doesn't one-shot you before you can take it down. Dusclops can fill a similar role, but also can threaten a Technician Breloom with a Will-O-Wisp and shut down its offenses for the remainder of the match. Despite its comical appearance and relatively low stats, Breloom is one of the best Pokemon out there. Spore is the best attack in the game, and Breloom has the offensive power to take full advantage of it. Even in a best-case scenario, Breloom will be able to shut down at least one of your Pokemon for at least a few turns. There is no such thing as a perfect Breloom counter, since it has the tools to beat even Pokemon that resist or are immune to its attacks. In the hands of a capable trainer, Breloom is a force to be reckoned with. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for any future videos, leave them in the comments below. If you are interested in participating in our online Pokemon League, click the link in the description for more information.